California, August 1977. A triumphant moment in screen history. To the world-famous Chinese theater come the stars of the biggest box office success in motion picture history.
R2-D2, hurry up. Everyone's waiting for you.
C-3PO and R2-D2 are reunited for the first time since their epical appearance in Star Wars. Thousands are gathered to see the metallic megastars place their footprints in cement in the theater's courtyard. As the two heroes of Star Wars make their indelible impressions on the ground reserved for Movieland's legends, the world resounds with the fact that Star Wars itself has become a full-fledged social phenomenon. It has become more than just a movie. Also to be honored this eventful day, Star Wars villain.
Oh no, it's Darth Vader. Just imagine that, R2. This is the strangest planet we ever visited. Oh, I can't bear it anymore. Turn the dial. Quickly, get rid of him at once. How can they do that, R2? That dreadful man putting his name right next to ours. Oh, how did this whole thing start? I really don't know. You're quite right, R2. It has happened too quickly. All that suffering. It is time we sorted it all out. Do you think your memory bank is up to it?
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a starship is boarded by Imperial stormtroopers. Their leader, Darth Vader, master of evil, and the Galactic Empire's most feared agent. The plans Darth Vader seeks are entrusted to two robots, C-3PO and R2-D2, for delivery to an heroic knight on a far-off planet.
I'm going to regret this.
After the robots escape from the starship, the rebel leader, Princess Leia, is captured.
Darth Vader, only you could be so bold.
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away!
It's much more fun looking at it this way. It was rather too exciting at the time, wasn't it, R2? Don't get technical with me, R2. Just hurry up and tell everyone how the film was really made.
Planet Earth, not too long ago, a rehearsal for one of Star Wars' most exciting scenes.
Bang, bang.
No, it's too late!
Bang, bang.
Come on!
Stop that, R2. It's not very nice to show our friends looking so silly. Besides, you really must begin at the beginning. Now just behave yourself, R2. Don't be so stubborn. You know perfectly well where it began. It began with Mr. Lucas.
George Lucas, 33 years old, writer and director of Star Wars. His first feature film for Warner Brothers, THX 1138, also science fiction, but of a very different kind. His second, Universal's American Graffiti, which recalled his adolescent years in a small town in California. His third film, the phenomenally successful Star Wars, which he wrote far from Hollywood at his home in Northern California.
I think one of the key factors in the success is that it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
In Star Wars, Lucas wanted to recapture the spirit of romance and adventure he found in the movies of the past, the kind of films that ran endlessly on television when he was growing up.
It's a good effort, Capitan.
The next will be better, my fancy clown.
In making his space adventure, Lucas set out to give young people another kind of fantasy world, the kind he derived from watching Westerns and old Flash Gordon serial.
Flash who?
The forces have you surrounded, Tarkov. They will attack if you do not surrender immediately.
Well, there they are.
I'll be seeing you, boys.
Luke Skywalker, the young hero of Star Wars, is a direct descendant of Flash Gordon. As he evolved from script to storyboard to actor in the person of 25-year-old Mark Hamill, Luke became a projection of every young boy's adventurous spirit. For director-writer George Lucas, Luke was something of an alter ego. In the film, Luke enlists the aid of a wise and virtuous man, part warrior, part mystic, and the last survivor of a knightly order called the Jedi. His name, Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi. He is portrayed in the film by the distinguished British actor, Sir Alec Guinness. For their adventures, Luke and old Ben must ally themselves with a mercenary space pirate, the cynical Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. For their journeys, they need Solo's space freighter, which comes with a most unusual co-pilot, Chewbacca, the Wookiee. With the two robots, this foursome will attempt to rescue a princess. As played by Carrie Fisher, this princess is royalty of a very liberated kind.
Governor Tarkin, I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Charming to the last.
The villain and chief nemesis, Darth Vader. Even in early production sketches, Darth Vader emerged as a crown prince of evil. Sound effects editors added a final touch to his villainy.
Wait a minute, R2. You may think you know what you're doing, but you have to be careful. Oh! R2-D2, come back at once. What's the matter, R2? It's all right, R2. Oh, that stupid machine. I don't know what he'd do without me. You needn't worry. I'll take care of it. It's all right, R2. You can come out now. He's gone. Come and see for yourself. He's not here. Now, really, R2, if you're not careful, you'll overwork your circuits. You needn't fret. Darth Vader has gone. Really, R2, I hope you've learnt your lesson. You must concentrate and stick to the story.
Tunisia, North Africa. Here, George Lucas and a film crew of 130 people from England and the United States recreated the planet of Tatooine, a strange world where the robots landed after their escape from the Imperial forces. To create the world of Tatooine, cargo planes and oversized trans-European moving vans brought thousands of pieces of equipment and props to the remote Tunisian desert. Construction crews worked for 2 months to build the dwellings and towns of the exotic planet. Among the strangest inhabitants of Tatooine, robots, or droids as they are called in the film. 25 different models of them. It is on Tatooine that the robots C-3PO and R2-D2 will encounter the young farm boy, Luke Skywalker. It is also on Tatooine that they will be confronted by the Jawas, bright-eyed wanderers of the wasteland. Tiny, scrappy creatures, the Jawas are known to deal in slightly used and often stolen droids. Scavengers of the desert, they are not nice people to run into when out for a stroll, as R2-D2 discovered in this scene from the film.
There, R2. Calm down. You must try to get a hold of yourself. Look at me. Scrap merchants aren't exactly my favorite people either. Yes, there certainly were a lot of very strange creatures out there in the desert.
Animal, vegetable, or mineral. The early production drawings of the Sand People don't specify. George Lucas imagined them as ferocious nomads, and ferocious is what they turned out to be, as demonstrated in this scene photographed on location.
No, R2, it didn't look very dangerous, did it? But just see how exciting it looks in the completed film.
Well, there are 2 banthas down there, but I don't see any... Wait a second. They're sand people, all right. I can see one of them now.
Sir Alec Guinness, a knight playing a knight, brought to the Star Wars set a theatrical tradition that inspired the youthful production company. In this, his first appearance as Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi, he rescues Luke Skywalker from the Sand People. It is now that R2-D2 discovers that Obi-Wan is the man to whom he must deliver the secret message. The message cannot be delivered, however, until a damaged friend has been repaired.
Oh, watching that scene always makes me nervous. Do you know that my arm still aches when my batteries run low? Yes, R2, the Force is extraordinary. I always like to hear Obi-Wan talking about it. Do you think it's the Force that's holding us together, R2? Yes, yes, I quite agree. With a little help from the crew. What clever people they are. Isn't it amazing the things they can invent? Like Luke Skywalker's land speeder.
Through the magic of film, Luke's land speeder hovers over the desert sands. But for scenes requiring starts and stops, part of the magic becomes transparent. In this scene, Luke discovers his family has been killed by the Imperial forces. He now makes a fateful decision.
There's nothing for me here now. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
Yes, R2, I was very glad to leave Tunisia, because then we went to film in the studios in England, which was much nicer. And the sets were unbelievable. The Millennium Falcon was most impressive. It even overwhelmed the crew.
In fact, Han Solo's space freighter, the Millennium Falcon, was Star Wars' most elaborate set. It was constructed on one of the 9 sound stages the company used at the Elstree Studios outside London.
It's better on this side of it than this side.
It's better with this there on your right, please, because I don't see it.
Nailed to the floor of the soundstage, the mock-up of the Falcon remains strangely earthbound. Later on the screen, it will appear to hurtle through the vastness of space.
Action! Can't you outrun him? I thought you said this thing was fast.
Watch your mouth, kid. You're gonna find yourself floating.
For all of its sophistication as a set, the motion of the Falcon is generated by a few stagehands.
Okay, cut. 559, take 2. Action.
Can't you outrun him? I thought you said this thing was fast.
Harrison Ford, who pilots the Falcon, worked with Lucas in American Graffiti. He played a similar role of a man obsessed by speed and ego.
Here's where the fun begins.
I ain't nobody, dork. Right?
Right.
Hey, you see this Milner, you tell him I'm looking for him, huh?
Ain't he neat?
In fact, a lot of the elements of Han Solo are a lot like Bob Falfa in American Graffiti. But I don't, I hope they're not the same person. I never intended them to be. The jump to hyperspace is like, it's like the drag racing in American Graffiti. Chewbacca. Chewbacca is the Wookiee. He's 200 years old, and I don't know if this ever comes out in the picture, but he is 200 years old. He's capable of flying the spaceship, and I'm capable of understanding his language. I related to him as if he were a special kind of dog. I thought kids would find him real frightening. So I wanted a relationship with him that would imply trust and equality.
The Wookiee actually came from my dog, Indiana, who is a big Malamute, very large, furry dog that looks a lot like the Wookiee, only slightly smaller.
Of course, R2. Everybody misses the Wookiee. He was such an interesting character. But remember how he used to cheat at chess?
Aboard the Falcon, En route to rescue the princess, the Wookiee and R2 play an unusual game with holographic chess pieces.
Now be careful, R2.
The chess pieces are actually rubber figures wired with movable joints. Using stop-action photography, every movement of the creatures is filmed one frame at a time. When played back, the creatures come to life in continuous motion. They are then added to the chessboard.
You made a fair move. Screaming about it can't help you.
Let him have it. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
But, sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
It's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
I see your point, sir. I suggest a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win. What did he say? Oh, he misses us too.
There are 365 special photographic effects in Star Wars, more than in any other movie. For this scene, each effect element was shot separately, then added to the live action. Even the laser beam of Luke's sword was optically printed into the scene. Other elements like the chess set and rays were added in the same way.
Remember, a Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him.
You mean it controls your actions?
Partially, but it also obeys your commands.
The Force which Obi-Wan attempts to pass on to Luke is a vital element in Star Wars.
It's sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny or works for good and also works for evil is always been very basic in mankind.